14 minutes past 7. The bin strike in Edinburgh is spreading to much of the rest of the country today. Bin workers at another 13 of Scotland's 32 councils will go on strike for 8 days. Last-ditch talks yesterday ended without agreement. The waste workers say they've been offered a pay rise, which is, and I quote, pathetic and derisory. Well, Scott Arthur is the Edinburgh City Council Transport and Environment Convener responsible for refuse from the Labour Party. Scott, good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks very much indeed for joining us. What's the gap then between your position and the unions on pay?
Well, firstly, it's important to remember that this is a national dispute which has started in Edinburgh first, and it will expand to, I think, another 13 or 14 local authorities today. Our position is that we've set aside 3% for this pay rise. I mean, Edinburgh is Scotland's worst funded local authority and has the biggest funding gap in the UK of any local authority. So we've set aside 3% for this pay rise, and we're hoping and anticipating the Scottish Government will at least equal that. But right now they appear reluctant to do so. An offer was made yesterday to the unions, and the unions are joining us actually. I was reading on the BBC website this morning and saying that really it's time for the Scottish Government to take part in this negotiation in a constructive manner.
They say you've got plenty of money. So SNP's Angus Robertson says, and I quote, "From the off, the council had enough money to cover a rise of over 4.5% without needing to look at other finance."
Well, next year, Alex Robertson's going to vote through a cut to Edinburgh of over £60 million. Every 1% we add on this pay deal costs the council £7 million. So we would be in the position where we would have to be making staff redundant to pay the remaining staff a better wage. And really that's not sustainable. Like I say, local funding...
Oh, we lost you.
Local funding generally local government funding generally in Scotland is not in a good position. So really the Scottish Government now need to step up and work with us on this.
But the waste workers would say that though you say losing staff at the council is not sustainable, they'll say, well, it's a necessary price because a 3% pay rise at a time when inflation is nudging 13%, forecast by some people in the City of London to go up to 18%, a 3% pay rise is actually a massive real terms cut. And they'd say that not only should you sort of suck it up within your budget, but the fact is the consequence of your failed negotiation with them is that massive empty bins are overflowing across Scotland, which is disastrous for tourism and is going to have a negative impact on the economy, isn't it?
So let me be absolutely clear. We support the trade unions in this claim, and we agree that 3% isn't enough. But this is a national dispute. Edinburgh alone cannot end this dispute. Local government is underfunded in Scotland. And so we're putting forward 3%, and we're saying to the Scottish Government they should at least match that to take it to 6%. And what the important thing about the offer that the staff in Scotland are faced with is it works at around £1,400 or £1,500 per person. The equivalent workers in England have been offered just over £1,900 per person. So that's it. I mean, our so-called progressive Scottish Government is offering workers in Scotland less than what workers in England are being offered. It's not surprising that it's been rejected. So like I say, this is a national discussion. It's not between Edinburgh and the workers. It's between all Scottish local authorities, the workers and the Scottish Government. The local authorities are putting 3%, and I really think the Scottish Government could at least match this.
Scott Arthur.
The interesting thing about this strike is the workers have almost unanimous support from the public. The public fully support them, and as do I have to say.
OK, Scott Arthur, forgive me for interrupting. I've got to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning.